Jalen Hurts slinging it like an MVP. One Eagles wide receiver surprisingly dominates the entire day, and the Philly Bulldogs are in full effect. All that and more coming up from training camp day 3. What is going on, everybody? Welcome into A to Z Philly, your number one home for Eagles coverage. As always, hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Be sure to subscribe and also ring that bell down below. That way you don't miss any of the coverage. I know we missed the few first practices of training camp. We were away, but I am back, locked in, ready to go. And man, what a day it was, as the day that we've all been waiting for finally happened. Jalen Hurts comes out and commands the entire field, absolutely shreds this defense. A lot of fun competition. This team is looking very promising. We have a lot to get to, but before we do that, drop down below in the comment section, what has been the one surprise or the one main highlight that you have been excited about so far in Eagles training camp? Maybe one player that has really stood out to you that you may have not expected or whatever. Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Before we jump right into it, shout out to our sponsor of today's video, BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using the code ATOZPA and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today using the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Pennsylvania only. New customer offer. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's jump into it, man. So we start out day 3 of Eagles training camp with some news, right? The one guy who hasn't been practicing, Haason Reddick, is back on the field doing his thing. Fully expect him to have another dominating year. He was probably the free agent signing of last offseason. He came out of nowhere. Obviously, he's from, this area, and it was a nice, warm, welcoming home. But, man, did he impress. He was a huge part of that defense. So it's good to see Haason Reddick out there. Just had some groin soreness before, but, he's good to go. So that's good to hear. And meanwhile, we have the Eagles' Kelly Green, which will drop tomorrow. Here is the helmet, what it looks like. Somebody got a hold of that. So shout out to John Clark for putting it here on Twitter. What do you think about the Kelly Green? Yay or nay? Seems like there's a consensus happiness out there that the Kelly Green jerseys are back. I can't wait, man. I'm definitely going to, cop one of these. It looks good. It really does look good. Jalen Hurts. I might have to get the Hurts one. What do you think? Let me know. But let's talk about Eagles training camp today, day 3. Nice day out there on a Sunday morning. And we'll start with Elliott Shore-Parks, who puts his takeaways here on Twitter. Eagles training camp day 3, number one takeaway, great day for passing offense. Hurts was really good with his down the field accuracy, and the result was a few big plays against good coverage. Jalen Hurts has been good so far in training camp, but we have heard a lot of things about the defense, right? Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, really from the first 2 practices, I would say the main takeaways that stood out were the Philly Bulldogs, which again, they're adding on to that today. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And DeAndre Swift and the Eagles running game being able to use, these versatile weapons. Really 2 of the main takeaways I talked about in my training camp preview last week. And I wanted to see some other things, right? Cam Jurgens has been getting the nod at right guard, which is something I was looking out for. But really, like I said, we know the core of this team. We know who's probably going to start where for the most part. But it's about seeing which guys will step up and embrace the opportunity. And it was nice to see Jalen Hurts come out here today, and apparently he wowed everybody. This was picking up from the Super Bowl, the MVP like Jalen Hurts, and he dominated today. And another guy that made his mark felt was Quez Watkins, who, has been up and down. He's been back and forth with the Eagles fan base, and, he gets criticized a lot for the drops and, sometimes doesn't show up the best. And, he's a nice deep threat to have, but people are feeling like, okay, this needs to be the point where you find it consistently and you earn that role on this team, because there is a lot of weapons. And Quez Watkins, this was probably the Quez Watkins day. If it wasn't the Jalen Hurts day, because we know what he can do, It was the Quez Watkins day, and they said he had one of his best days in an Eagles uniform in practice. had really nice catches. Wide receiver 3 job is clearly his. Sidney Brown starting to flash, won't be long till he gets first team reps. Still a lot of competition at safety. Starting linebackers might be an issue. Morrow has struggled in coverage. Nakobe hasn't stood out yet. We'll get to more on that later. I said the linebacker position is the one I'm looking for. Jordan Davis getting a lot of reps in 4-man fronts. He has come back in better shape, which has been the report so far. Joseph Nada has been the best of the backup wide receivers, better than Olamide Zaccheaus. Those are the takeaways from Elliott Shore-Parks. And then to add on to that, from Josh Tolentino, his main takeaways are, once again, Jalen Hurts absolutely dominant, very accurate, and only had a couple missed throws. Quez, Watkins, Devontae Smith apparently stood out and had a great day today, had a nice catch, which we'll talk about. And the Eagles have a lot of talent on the edges. So nice to hear all these different positional groups standing up and stepping up big time. Here were the stats for Jalen Hurts, day 3, 16 for 19. Best day so far, super accurate on tough throws. Good job taking chances while also never really putting the ball at risk of being turned over. Very big, and we know he did a splendid job of that this past year. Offense definitely won the day versus the defense, and Hurts was the reason why. An A grade per Elliott Shore-Parks. So this, again, was the Jalen Hurts day. He finally got back to that MVP form, and he dominated. Now, one of the main storylines that I talked about in my preview was, what will the Eagles do at running back? It seems like a lot of guys are getting reps. It seems like they're going with this committee, and they're letting a lot of these dudes, get the first team reps. And here was Rashad Penny, who they talked to, said he feels great physically, and he says that the Eagles staff has kept him feeling fresh. He's played at 235, 237 in Seattle and wants to get down to 225, right? A couple of those injuries have accumulated. He's trying to get in shape. He's, looked decent so far, but really the main man has been DeAndre Swift. We know he's going to bring another element to the Eagles offense. And today, Elliott Shore-Parks says he had one of the best catches of the entire training camp. Hurts passed it to him 30 yards down the field. Swift clearly has one arm held down by Sidney Brown, and he still came down with the ball. So not only catching out of the backfield, how about send him down the field, right? DeAndre Swift, again, it's just going to bring a really fresh element of versatility that this Eagles offense has not had. It really makes them complete. If they can get Swift, to move out of the backfield like he is and catch some of these balls and, duck and dive defenders, I mean, you're adding another element. This Eagles offense really could be unstoppable if they are not already. So in terms of the Georgia Bulldogs, who are now the Philly Bulldogs, right? The Philly Dogs. Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter have been the main two standouts so far in the first couple practices. But Nolan Smith, I mean, he's really the guy who continues to impress. We know what Jalen Carter's going to do. We know he's going to be in the mix, right, very early on. But Nolan Smith just has that dog mentality. Today, he said he can't wait to start hitting at camp. A lot of things can be eliminated by just going fast and hitting the blank out of somebody. The reports on him, he's looked very fresh, very sharp off the edge, and he's just able to move everywhere. He's a guy you can plug in different places on the defense. I love his mentality. I said that on draft night, and I'm very excited to see what Nolan Smith can do. And of course, his counterpart, Jalen Carter, chiming in on the Eagles-Cowboys rivalry. He says, I'm ready to turn up, make a big impact this season. I'm ready to kill the Cowboys. Everybody has beef with them. I might as well join the wave. Jalen Carter looks strong, man. He looks like he honestly could be starting like very early in the season. And I mean, again, maybe it's a hot take. I'd say he might have 7-8 sacks this year. I think Carter could be in the running for defensive rookie of the year if he really gets the amount of snaps that I think he will get. I think Jalen Carter, was passed up on by some teams, maybe, shouldn't have been. And I'm glad he fell to the Philadelphia Eagles. Meanwhile, Jordan Davis from last year says he's still at 340 pounds, but he feels in better shape. They said he looked very better. Someone had a comparison of him from last year to this year. He looks really, really good. And they said his conditioning on the field is notches better. So I'm excited to see Jordan Davis. It looks like he's going to take a step up. And even though Elliott Shore-Parks said Nakobe Dean was not really looking too sharp or hasn't stood out so far, Nakobe says he's feeling good calling the plays. We know he did that in OTAs, and Sean Desai putting a lot of trust up in him. A couple other things from today. James Bradbury had an interception on Marcus Mariota. Mariota really has not looked sharp at all, so maybe the Eagles will have to look elsewhere. But Elliot Shore Park says this could have been a pick six in a real game-like situation. So good to see Bradbury out there doing his thing. Excited to see how the secondary plays out, especially with the safety position. Other than Bradbury, again, Devontae Smith had a great day. Here's a video of him. Nice footwork there and a nice catch by Devontae Smith. A couple of these other wide receivers, right? The Eagles signed Deion Kane. So a lot of guys getting reps so far. Josh Talentino from today says Devontae Smith took the top off the defense and Jalen Hurts floated a completion down the right sideline. Smith fought through illegal contact from Sidney Brown, who was trying to recover, and still comes down with the grab. So a couple plays today where Sidney Brown grabbed the receiver or intended receiver, but shout out to Devontae Smith. I mean, he looks sharper than ever, and we know the chemistry that exists with him and Jalen Hurts. I cannot wait to see how the rest plays out, but today was more so the offense's day, and it was led by the main man, Jalen Hurts. So we will monitor and see what happens, have a couple more training camp practices, and we'll really get into this thing, man. But Eagles looking fresh in all aspects. Give me your main takeaways and thoughts down below in the comments section. With that being said, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that being said, I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.